All right, Chapter 2, what is a soil conservation district? Next slide. So in Maryland, like many states, as Jen was saying, as to how we're organized, the soil conservation districts are an independent political subdivision of the state. They are not housed within the agency, but actually stand as their own independent entity in state government. Those powers of the districts we'll talk about in more detail, but provide extensive authority to the district and to the board to exercise public power on behalf of the district and its territory. The district and the board members are highly empowered to really act at the local level. And so really we see the job operationally for the districts to be that local link between your landowners and the operators to provide those conservation services and conservation benefits to your district territory. So then also within each district, we see that there's a governmental structure. We have a board of 5 appointed supervisors that oversee each of the 24 districts. The qualifications to be a board member are fairly minimal. You need to be a resident of the district that you're serving with an interest or knowledge on conservation and natural resources. And you may not hold another, what we term an office of profit in the state of Maryland. So as an appointed official of the district, you have the responsibility to direct the conservation needs within your community. Again, really focused on acting locally and being empowered locally within the district itself. Next slide. So a little more about the supervisor appointments and how they occur within Maryland. The board, like I said, have 5 appointed members. The appointment structure is in state law and was developed several decades ago and consists of these 5 portions. So 1 member is nominated by the local chapter of the Farm Bureau. A 2nd member is nominated by the local University of Maryland Extension, the ag agent within most of the districts. There are 2 at-large that are just local residents of the district, and a 5th member that is appointed by the county government, whether that be the county executive or a county council. So all 4 members listed first are appointed by the State Soil Conservation Committee. The exclusion is the county governing body. So the State Soil Conservation Committee meets monthly. They will consider the nominations provided by Farm Bureau, Extension, or the at-large members, and then State Committee will take action to actually appoint that board supervisor. Supervisors are appointed to a 5-year term, and there are no term limits. So a board member can be reappointed many times over the course of their service to the district. Each time a board member is appointed or reappointed, you do have to take a new oath of office, and you do have to make recognition that you're accepting an office of profit within the state of Maryland, again, because you can't hold 2 office of profits, so we have to avoid those conflicts. There is an attendance requirement for board supervisors to be at least 50% of meetings. So the board meetings are held monthly. You have to attend at least half of those over a rolling 12-month period. If you're unable to attend, then you are automatically disqualified from retaining your seat as a board supervisor. And then we also have associate supervisors that are not appointed, but are at the discretion of each district to recruit and to bring on as potential future members. There is no attendance requirement for associate supervisors. Next slide. So within the board, we see several roles. Again, the board has the ability to kind of select among themselves within these leadership positions. So the 3 positions are typically the chair, the vice chair, and the treasurer. The chair often is selected annually. Again, can be somebody that can be in a recurring role, but really serves to be the leader of the board, really offering facilitation across the board meeting itself and facilitating regular discussion between the board, the district manager, and often the district conservationist, and is often the one speaking on behalf of the other board members on key issues. They are served by a vice chair and then a treasurer that would handle the financials for the district itself as well. There's often a secretary that also supports the board. These are often the University of Extension ag agent, so not an appointed board member, but the University Extension, through partnerships and longtime affiliations with the district, will often have Extension serving in the role of secretary to help attend meetings, capture minutes, and distribute documents on behalf of the board as needed. And then lastly, for just general recruitment and representation that we talk about with the board, of really thinking about not just among the board members in the leadership roles that they carry, but also kind of forward thinking about how we're recruiting and retaining new members, using that associate supervisor role as a way to really think about as folks are losing capacity or interest in being able to serve the board, and looking at what the future succession may look like, thinking about associate supervisors and others in the ag community that may bring expertise or important insight and representation to the district structure itself. So all of that should be considered as the board is deciding its roles and acting on programs within the district. Next slide. And then briefly, the office of profit. Again, we've said this, that the board supervisor cannot hold two office of profit. So it's important for folks to understand that definition within the state of Maryland. So it has two components. First, of being a public office. So this is a position created by law, which casts on incumbent duties that are continuing in their nature, which again is a board supervisor meeting monthly and carrying on a business of the district. And you are charged to exercise a portion of the powers of state government. We're going to talk about those powers of the districts in another chapter. But again, you're acting as essentially a public official, acting on behalf of the districts. But it does not include employees of government agencies as considered in the definition of public office. And then second is profit. So that is not just the fees and salaries and compensation. So most supervisors receive a per diem or reimbursement for their time serving the board, reimbursed for their expenses when they're traveling to meetings or conferences. So there is a salary and fees associated with your serving with the district supervisors. So those two components make up what we consider to be an office of profit. And like I said, avoid any conflict with having a dual office within other institutions or commissions within the state of Maryland. Next slide.